very critical. We are in a state where Barbados needs to look at every possible option of producing potable water as well as protecting it.
This project is really to assist Barbados to ensure that every single body has water. That's it in a nutshell. Obviously, you need energy to pump water. This project has a PV component and a microturbine component to ensure that there's energy to pump water. So then we have the energy and the water being available to persons, all right? Then we have a second component which deals with the revolving adaptation fund facility, where persons can have access, either it be a grant or a small loan, where they could, do some climate change adaptation and mitigation actions at their house. This could be just by changing the light bulb to the more energy efficient, by replacing the type of toilet, just some very small things that they could do at the household level, because you want to really focus on spreading everything around that we possibly can. The third component, we have the rainwater harvesting systems, the personal tank program, which was started by the Barbados Water Authority. We're just kind of building on what is there already. It makes no sense, reinventing the wheel or fixing something that isn't broken. So just to build on something that the Barbados Water Authority already has. Barbados is in the top 15 most scarce countries in the world. But really and truly, you have to analyze and think about, okay, what does that mean for the single person? What does it mean for the single parent? What does that mean for the student who, doesn't have water in the morning to go to school? How does that offset the day for that student? In order to pump water, you need energy. We don't have the advantage of topography where there's a steep hills or some valleys, mountains or something. We can actually pump water using gravity to distribute. So therefore, for distribution, we need the energy to pump. As you all know, the lines in Barbados are pressurized, which means that as soon as you turn the tap, water will come out automatically, all right? So therefore, we need energy. That's one of the reasons why there is 4.5 megawatts of PV systems and then additional 2 megawatts of backup energy in terms of microturbines to ensure that if it happens, if there's some sort of outage or some sort of disturbance in the electrical grid, that certain areas will still have our majority population, especially the essential areas, including Queen Elizabeth Hospital, will still have access to water, or at least water able to be pumped directly to them.
So resilience means to me just recovery. In our case here at the Bomerson pumping station, we can see power systems just behind us, where if there's an extreme weather event or climatic event, you can have water systems resume.
Water resilience to me means that we could continue pumping operations regardless of the circumstances.
It really comes back to me to strengthen what you have to be able to withstand an extreme event. In our situation, that is usually we're preparing for storms that could potentially affect the island. So being able to strengthen what we have, that we can be up and running as quickly as possible after the event, is where our improvements or our rehabilitation really is important.
In the context of this project, we will be getting 4.5 megawatts in photovoltaic and a further 2 megawatts with a microturbine.
The microturbine is a gas turbine that we will be using to generate electricity. In the event of a power failure, we would use that to pump water to critical areas on the island.
And in the context of this project, that allows us to be more resilient in the sense that, once again, we could continue our pumping operations without we need a Barbados land power.
We can be water resilient with something as simple as installing a tank. If we're looking at the domestic areas, we could be resilient with our power systems. We can be resilient in understanding how to reduce our carbon emissions and looking to improve our sustainability.
Water resilience would be one where everybody will be able to have access to clean water. So the ability to store water, the availability to keep it clean, free from mosquitoes, etc. I think that would help. That's water resilience to me.
Barbados Water Authority has been having some challenges providing water to the higher elevations of St. John and St. Joseph. The rainwater harvesting system gives me the opportunity to utilize the rainwater for many of the uses.
I believe that we can be more water resilient if we encourage people to not just capture water, but teach people how to use the water that they capture. So if you could use it for irrigation, that would help with food security again, for washing your clothes, for washing your car. I think that would help.
As it relates to having a rainwater harvesting system and also having a personal tank to store the portable water, I would suggest, if it is possible to have both systems, that you do so. If it is not possible, and you're in an area of high elevation, etc., you should have at least 400 gallons of portable water from the Barbados Water Authority, and if you can, have at least 400 gallons of rainwater.
The RAF is the most innovative component of this project. So it's the Revolving Adaptation Fund facility. So it will be initially capitalized by a portion of the savings resulting from the installation of the PV power systems under this project. People would apply to the RAF so that if, for example, if you're a householder and you want to install a rainwater harvesting system, or you want to install like a small solar system to mitigate against climate change and reduce emissions, and you want to be part of that, then you would just apply to the RAF once you fit the criteria, because there's going to be a criteria that will be set up. And once you are approved, then you will be able to access the funding so that you can be part of this project of, well, Barbados' national focus to become more resilient.
Our efforts to reduce our use of the fossil fuels to make electricity and the revenue that's generated from those renewable energy photovoltaic sites will then be made available in a rotating way to improve the internal systems of, say, households, and even at the slightly higher commercial level and the agricultural sector, even maybe the hotel sector, the intimate hotels, the smaller ones, that they will be able to get funds to be able to implement these same rainwater harvesting systems, for instance, that they may not be able to be accessible to them. Because as you can imagine, a drip irrigation system for a house, the cost of that is going to be a lot less than someone who's running a farm that's a full acre. So, you know, to get them from having to turn on that tap to be able to, you know, reduce that demand, because, you know, those sprinkler systems, they use a lot of water and they waste a lot of water too. It doesn't get where it's supposed to go and runs into the road invariably. But the drip, for instance, is more efficient in delivering that water. So if we can help to upgrade someone's system, or even switch them from, you know, you have the tank to collect the rainwater, then the drip system, their demand on the regular potable supply that costs a lot more will be less. So it will save us all around. And I think it's the providing that access that's the key component that the GCF is really important.
Through this project, we're able to do we're able to contribute something to society, but really and truly there's a lot that has to be done. And I think it's more than, you know, just saying, okay, well, just pump some money to do this, but it actually has to do with a paradigm shift for persons to understand that, well, you know, everybody has their own responsibility. The person who is just, you know, washing the car, the person who is just, you know, brushing the teeth and has the faucet running, everybody has their own part to play.